Breaking details tonight on a terror group that some say is an even greater threat to the United States than ISIS. And while you may not have heard of them ever before, this group has been targeting the United States and its allies for months. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge is live for us tonight in Washington. Catherine?
Well, thank you, Megan. U.S. government officials acknowledge that foreign fighters, many battle-hardened from Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Yemen, are in Syria with the intent of working with the al-Qaeda affiliate there known as the al-Nusra Front. Our contacts believe operatives trained by the Yemeni bomb maker Ibrahim al-Asiri are among them. Al-Asiri, who specializes in non-metallic explosives that can get by traditional airport security, was behind the underwear bomb plot in 2009. The group is known as Khorasan, and this Norwegian citizen Anders Dale is suspected of playing a prominent role identifying Western passport holders who can smuggle bombs onto flights bound for the U.S. Intelligence about fresh plotting led the TSA to change its security posture in July and called for increased security of cell phones and laptops on flights into the U.S. Given the sensitivity of the information, the nation's top intelligence officers seemed to hesitate today when asked if the group poses a risk equal to ISIS.
In terms of threat to the homeland, perhaps they do. This Khorasan group, so-called, which I guess is out there, is potentially yet another threat to the homeland.
And the rivalry between the two terror networks in Syria to be the leader of the global jihad was also addressed on Capitol Hill.
These groups are in competition with one another for attention, for fundraising, for recruitment, and one way to compete is to show that you're the biggest and baddest group out there.
Some analysts say Khorasan has historical significance, referring back to Afghanistan and Pakistan, the traditional home of al-Qaeda's senior leadership. Megan.
Catherine Herridge, thank you.
You're welcome.
So intel sources now indicate that al-Qaeda in Yemen is working with al-Qaeda in Syria and getting support from al-Qaeda in Pakistan. But despite all that, the president is still insisting that al-Qaeda is gone.
We have struck significant blows against al-Qaeda's leadership. Al-Qaeda's leadership on the border region between Pakistan and Afghanistan has been decimated. We took out Osama bin Laden and much of al-Qaeda's leadership in Afghanistan and Pakistan.
We took out Osama bin Laden, much of al-Qaeda's leadership in Afghanistan and Pakistan, and leaders of al-Qaeda affiliates in Yemen and Somalia.
The core al-Qaeda leadership in Afghanistan and Pakistan has been decimated.
Well, the core leadership anyway. Seth Jones has worked in various capacities for U.S. Special Operations Command in Iraq and Afghanistan, and he's also a member of the International Security and Defense Policy Center with the RAND Corporation. Seth, good to see you.
Thanks, Megan.
So you know, the president has said that so many times, that their core leadership has been decimated. Is that in any way inconsistent with this report, that this group is alive and well and planning on bombing us perhaps on airplanes?
Well, I think it's completely inconsistent.
Maybe it's the underlings who are doing it. Their leaders are gone, but like the low privates in the army are sitting around the kitchen table.
Actually, that doesn't appear to be the case. Individuals like Muhsin al-Fadli, who's a major al-Qaeda operative from Iran, is involved in a lot of the plotting we're seeing now from Syria and Turkey towards the west, including towards the U.S. homeland. The people we're seeing involved in plotting from al-Qaeda are names we've seen for a long time.
How dangerous is this group versus ISIS when it comes to threats on Americans here in the homeland?
Well, what it looks like today from an intelligence perspective is the group that is plotting the most attacks, the most serious plots against both Europe, our European allies, including London and the British, and the U.S. homeland is the al-Nusra Front. It is not ISIS at the moment, though there is a longer-term concern. But this is al-Nusra Front in Syria with al-Qaeda's help in Pakistan and Yemen. This is a bit of a competition, actually, with ISIS right now.
This is the nightmare scenario where you've got these competing terrorist groups whose mission is to outdo the other, and the main target is America.
Is America and its allies. I think if they could pull off an attack in London or Madrid or Paris, they'd do that just as well as they would in Washington and New York.
How concerned should we be about the plane issue? I mean, we always go back to that, obviously, given 9/11, but do you think that's where the focus likely is?
Well, I think it's one major focus, and what Ibrahim al-Asiri, the bomb maker in Yemen, has been trying to do is figure out ways to get a bomb onto an airplane that makes its way through security, either in a body crevice or using materials that are non-metallic, so you can walk through airport security. It is important to know this group and these groups are trying to be very innovative in learning how to break their way through American security practices.
I love that that guy is in Yemen. Isn't Yemen the country we gave the 5 Taliban generals to? Wasn't it? Or was it Qatar? They're bad, too.
They were in Qatar. They're all bad.
Yemen is the place the president pointed us to for his working counterterrorism strategy that he thinks, you know, it's just like the war he's just going to launch. That guy's sitting there planning attacks against us.
He is, and he's been doing it actually for a long time. This is actually the same guy that was involved in the underwear bomber plot in 2009. Same bomb maker.
Unbelievable, Seth. Thank you for your insights.
Thank you, Megan.